Hey Believers, this is SuperZombieBBQ, and today we have just had final 100% confirmation of exactly how the WWE draft is going to work. Now, I kind of hoped that this would happen, so I prepared a lot of stuff for this, but I did actually have another video plan which I recorded. Now I've actually had the confirmation of how the draft is going to work, I've decided to actually re-record this segment. I think it's going to be really awesome. This just popped up on WWE.com and it shows that Raw will get the first overall draft pick, and the biggest thing to come from this announcement, other than the fact that tag teams now count as one pick, if SmackDown was to get 20 picks, Raw would actually get 30 picks. And that's designed, I imagine, to make sure that Raw doesn't have a stale nature to its workforce, even though you could argue that they've had stale nature to their workforce for a long time. It hasn't exactly been entertaining. This is going to be a way of potentially boosting it up. Next thing that's really important is that they can split the team up, and if they are actually counted as a team, for example, what is rumoured to be Daniel Bryan, let's just see Daniel Bryan see something really special in Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods could be drafted out of the New Day. That opens up storyline wise. 6 draft picks from the NXT, although these have almost been not effectively confirmed, but it's almost likely who we're going to see at least 4 of the picks being, which we'll talk about in a moment. A big thing on here is that Brock Lesnar is able to be drafted in the WWE draft. Darren Young actually comes with Bob Buckland as well. They could potentially split them up, which I don't imagine they would. Do you think Rusev and Lana potentially could be split up as well? The Ascension, are the Ascension even a thing anymore? The Dudley Boys, New Day, Usos, and the Vaudevillains. Next thing comes down to who goes to who. Now, I've got my own personal predictions, and I've been working on this myself, because obviously most of my content, WWE SuperCard content, I linked up with a guy, Sasha for Life. Sasha for Life actually made some SummerSlam custom cards for a random purpose, and I thought they were amazing, so I thought I'd showcase them. I decided to actually ask him to go onto a project for me to create some customized draft cards similar to the Money in the Bank cards, which I have linked to a video up here. If you've never watched this video beforehand, or you don't know what SuperCard is, there's a link over there as to what the Money in the Bank cards look like. So I've actually made my own predictions as to who is going to go where. And I've also included the NXT picks as well, which are going to be very interesting. Surprisingly that they've only added 6, but I could see there being a situation where the first draft pick is actually chosen, and maybe the first draft pick, there's a flip of the coin, and the first person who is picked by Raw and SmackDown is actually a person they can choose off the roster. John Cena is going to be one of the first ones going to be drafted over to Raw, and part of these custom card designs, I love the designs, love the way that they look. John Cena is going to be one of those first ones that's getting pulled across to Raw. I think, again, more to make sure that the merchandise sales are going up. Me personally, I see one of the other bigger stars in WWE, whether he remains a bigger star or not, going to SmackDown. We'll talk about that later. Dean Ambrose going across to Monday Night Raw and staying there. I think that he needs to be on the longer show. I think he's got the ability to stay on the longer show, and I think if he was to be seen to go to SmackDown, it would mean to show that he was a weaker champion. So if it depends which way does WWE decide to go with this, but if Dean Ambrose does go to stay with Raw, I think it's the best thing, as well as the fact that I think guys like Kevin Owens, AJ Styles could have some amazing matches with Dean Ambrose and actually use him to his full potential. Diva is Charlotte, and I think this links in very well to the NXT pick, potentially Nia Jax. I have a feeling that Dana Brooke is going to get drafted over to SmackDown. Another person I can see staying on Raw, Diva's side, I can see Sasha Banks staying on Raw. I don't think this Sunday is the last time you're going to see them wrestle. I think it's going to be a long-going feud. Again, with them announcing the NXT polls, it's going to be Finn Balor. Finn Balor has been waiting for ages to get this opportunity. I think he's going to finally get it with Finn Balor coming over to Monday Night Raw. Finn will get over massively with the Monday Night Raw crowd. And I think this is a great move, would be a great move for both. Designs look absolutely incredible. I'm so impressed with the work that Sasha for Life has done. The last 2 I'm going to show you are Kevin Owens. Now, Kevin Owens, for me, has to stay on Monday Night Raw. Again, he just fits the show more. I don't think moving over to SmackDown would be a good idea. I think you need to let him and Dean Ambrose have the main stage to push them and elevate them up to the next level. I don't think he needs to be moving Kevin Owens across. I think that he's a better choice to stay on Raw than he is to go on SmackDown. That's one purely because I don't see the club or AJ Styles being split up, and I think Finn Balor may potentially come in very well for some kind of rivalry with this. I can see AJ Styles staying on Monday Night Raw, which potentially could mean that, again, the club stay there and we have this new faction. Well, they've been running for a while, but not in the faction kind of sense. And I can see maybe a couple of tag teams being broken up. Maybe this is the opportunity for the club to start rising to maybe a faction kind of level instead of just being a tag team plus AJ Styles. Maybe being a 3, 4, or 5-man group, which could mean that we see something similar to what happened with Evolution. Maybe not to the scale, but something that indeed would be exciting in a main storyline for Raw. I think of my predictions, and also let me know what first draft pick is going to be for Raw or SmackDown. Now we're going to have a look at some of the SmackDown guys, and this one is going to be particularly NXT and exciting superstar heavy guys who probably need the exposure. What do you make of the fact that the Undertaker is not on that list either? What do you think of that? Potentially a sign, or is it just because he's not around enough for that to be something that's going to be affecting him? The first pick for SmackDown is that of Seth Rollins. Literally control the entire brand. He can be exactly what he wants to be and lead the brand and be the person who's the face of the brand. He can have amazing feuds with the people that I'm about to show you with. Plus, it would be a great way of setting tension between Shane and Stephanie, being that their boy Seth Rollins has potentially been taken away from them, from under them, and been placed on a new show. Potentially used as a bargaining chip, maybe to get him back in the future. Who knows, maybe a Triple H return in the future. Who knows at this point. Next one I'm going to go for is a diva. This is going to be in the name of Paige. Why Paige? Because she needs the exposure. She needs to go back to being what she's best at, which in my opinion is a heel. And that will go very nicely with two divas I think are going to go over there. First of all, Becky Lynch. And the second one, this lady, Bayley. Why do I think Bayley will go over there? I think Bayley is very much overdue. Bayley is very much overdue a move to the WWE and to the main roster. The reason why I think Bayley's going to go over there is specifically to have the ability to have exposure, but not too much exposure, for them to manage her a little bit better than maybe they did with some of the Diva Revolution girls, such as Charlotte, Sasha, Becky. And I think the ability for Bayley to come over as a huge babyface and Paige just rip her apart pretty much every opportunity. Let me know what you think of that. I personally think Bayley is definitely a shoo-in for SmackDown. Just like this dude here, Nakamura. Now, a lot of people have been saying that Nakamura won't come over. I think, given how highly Triple H will speak about Nakamura, there's only one brand he can go to. He can't go to Monday Night Raw. I don't think so, because WWE won't want to risk the fact that he can't 100% speak fluent English yet. They put them in front of a SmackDown fan set, or instead, much better, and gives him the opportunity to do as he needs to flourish, to then move over to Raw to be on the main set, because this guy potentially is going to be the best thing WWE have had for a long time. Just imagine the matches between Nakamura and Seth Rollins. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to see that? Another person who I think is going to want this move is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is definitely winding down. He's going to be. He's already said he's going to be continuing to do have his career in WWE, continue to do matches and try to face all the best people he can. And I think the ability to go up against Nakamura, just as an example, maybe some of the new up and comers, which I'm going to be showing in a second, would be definitely something I think Jericho's going to want to have. Next one for me, Randy Orton. I definitely see Brock going the other way to go to Monday Night Raw. I don't think Brock is going to be anywhere near SmackDown. I personally would pop for an Orton victory over Brock. I think maybe in this situation he might do it because in light of what's come up, maybe Brock might not even be there. This is a tag team pick. I'm going to choose Enzo and Cass. I think Enzo and Cass are definitely going to stay together. There's no way that they would remove them at this point in time unless they had big plans for one of them. Next one or next two, big potential move. This is something that's maybe, again, with that video coming online for the NXT live event, could be something that's happening. This would count as one NXT pick, because a lot of people are saying it would count as two NXT picks. No, American Alpha would count as one, because the tag teams, unless they're being split up, is only going to count as one. Potentially to return of another superstar, maybe someone who can manage them. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable could do an amazing job as a tag team. Potentially the new Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, it's been rumoured, Could it be? Maybe. I think it'd be a really amazing opportunity for them to show how good they are in the WWE ring, but not on the big stage yet, to move forward and then maybe go up to Raw. Well, you say go up to Raw. Potentially, we could be seeing another golden age of SmackDown where, why would you want to be on Raw when SmackDown's the A show? And even though it gets the lesser ratings, could SmackDown actually end up being the A show going forward? This could be something very, very, very big for those two individuals. For one, I think this is definitely designed to keep Owens and Zayn apart, potentially for a big pay-per-view match in the future, because these both have great, well, as long as Vince McMahon doesn't get in the way, futures, Zayn and Owens potentially being split up 100%, no questions about it. One's on Raw, one's on SmackDown. Maybe they have one more match in them that they have and they set for SummerSlam, and that is it. As just a one-off match. Sami Zayn definitely needs to go to SmackDown to get the exposure he needs. Kevin Owens needs to stay on Raw to continue the fire streak he started when he first started last year with the NXT Championship, taking on John Cena and beating him in his first match. And the last one, I think, is definitely going to happen. I don't think this has changed. I think Reigns was always destined to go to SmackDown. Roman definitely needs to stay away from Dean Ambrose as much as possible. Maybe, potentially, they could have him as a centerpiece, as a babyface, and Seth as a centerpiece, as a heel. Who knows? It's all going to be up for decision on Tuesday night when the brand split goes live. Let me know what you think. Your first draft picks, what you think the most surprising draft picks. Do you think there's going to be any massive returns to increase numbers for draft picks? It doesn't seem that way, but could it potentially happen? Let me know in the comment section below. That'll be it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also remember details description below for my Twitch, Twitter, and my Instagram accounts. Remember to follow those. Last thing before I forget, and that is to sleep!